Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I'm going to present a topic on international human resource management practice, which is a culture in intelligence with global HR. This we are going to critically analyze international human resource management practice across four continents. My name is Adams Mugeni. I'm doing this presentation on 25th of July 2025. So first, we are going to look at the lens of international, the cultural lens of international human resource management. So basically, uh, we ask ourselves question: How does culture uh, value influences or shape the global HR strategies in different companies? As a company grows, you get that it attracts multicultural into the organization. More often, human resource has now moved from an operational function to a strategic function. And we get that most of corporate leaders are now recognizing the importance of human resource strategy in running the organization. So we are going to use Hofstede culture dimension framework to understand different cultural values which are associated in this continent. Um, uh, and most cases, what I've seen is that you get managers are having a clashes between a culture, the global principle of a company or the policies of the company and the local cultural values of the employee. So there's always a clash between the global principle and the local cultures of the employee. And furthermore, as a company grows, the more culture comes in. And as normally we know that staff or employees fear changes. So you get that once the new culture is introduced, employees become resistant to this cross-culture changes. And that it makes it leads to it prompts managers to look to reconcile this culture conflict and look for the best practice so that which can diffuse the culture different. So we'll start with our first continent, which is North America. North America, we have seen that they like individualism, where most people value independence than interdependency. They value their own dreams. They refer themselves as I. So this leads to a situation where uh, people work and what is recognized, what is the normal culture is that people value merits and accountability because you do work at yourself. The individualism perspective of North America is shown very well with Ofsted and work culture. Then Ofsted shows very well how this individualism exists in North America. And this individualism has led to transformational leadership, where it has also improved in technology or in North America. You see a company like Amazon, which is a customer centric, and or if you study A&B, which link host and travelers. These companies have learned or are able to connect people with technology and make people interact with technology, and this leads to innovation in this country, and that's why you see most of the North American giant companies, they are too big to fail. They have the syndrome because they are unable to connect people to how people interact with work, and now they're able to develop further. Um, So individualism also, if we look at how North America is navigating their culture dimension, is that you get individualism leads to a person want to perform individually. He wants to showcase its own performance, and this has led some of the policies. If you look at Google have the 20% policy where individuals are allowed 20% of their time to do projects which they have passion on. So see, that is a culture which is not seen anywhere. And then if you look at Hofstede dimension, you realize that North America, because of the individualism, they have very low power distance uh, because they and a very high uncertainty index. So these make the workforce dynamics challenging to the HR because each individual will want to perform the way he feels like will enable himself to grow. And also individualism also created what we call the American dream because you cannot dream holistically, you dream as an individual. So and also we remember that North America is a block of people migrating from different cultures. So it has a multicultural uh, job seekers. So when HRs are going to do recruitment, they have to assess where different individuals are coming from and their culture before they go to employ. And also the federal and state legal patchworks, where different states, different have their different laws of labor laws, so it becomes complicated. Imagine you are a company in different states, and every state has its own different labor laws, payment, minimum wages. So you have to be the HR managers have to be keen to and adjust to different states in North America. After that, we try and look at Asia. Asia, if you look at Asia, Asia, the practice hierarchy, they respect power, they respect people who are on the top. So you get that they have a high power distance uh, 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 system in employment, in workplace. And these high power distance enables a division to be made from top towards down. And also, we look at the hierarchy leads to what we call collectivism, where people work as a system from the end to there's no individualism as in North America. So you get work is done collective. And if we also look at the Japanese art of Nemawase, which is an art of where you involve all stakeholders in decision making. So consensus are built through dialogue and which create harmony. This interdependence between workers or staff or workforce enables economy to have hypergrowth. If you look at most of the Asian countries, they're having upper hyper growth economies because of interdependence. That is the hierarchy or the high power distance has created a way that people work collectively, and then this enables uh, uh, the economy to grow very fast. If you look at Toyota em- embrace collective working, and this has increased their ability for innovation. So if you look at also because countries embrace hierarchy, you get labor laws are aligned with the national government development goals, and that when the government is involved, a policy cannot go wrong. So if a country labor laws are aligned to the national development, you get policies are easily uh, effective. And if you look at like Toyota also, we said they have embraced lean system to promote their continual improvement. And also HR managers in Asia should think about what is modern and versus traditional ethics tension, so that uh, uh, because of the hyper growth, they should think about modern things. If you go back to Africa, Africa work in a communal way by embracing the Ubuntu philosophy. Ubuntu philosophy is more about I am because we are, that we cannot, it's a principle or a philosophy that states that individual grows because of the others. And we get most of the leadership style in uh, in in Africa is more of a servant leadership, where the leader serves people. And then there is, because of the communal growth or the communal participation, there is interconnectedness between people, and these drive innovation. If you look at big companies like MTN is telecommunication, and Safaricom, they integrate community-based affairs, so that uh, the innovation are driven from the community, and the leadership is the company runs according to the community. But also, what set back Africa is that we are still Africa is still more based on colonial legacy, and we're still stuck with colonial practice. You get if you go to office, the language they speak, it mostly the official language you get is English. The way they dress, you get the dress like they are colonial masters. So the culture still is based on past colonial people. And HRs in Africa are having a problem with the balancing, because you get people moving out of Kenya, out of Africa to go seek greener pasture. So there is a big brain drain, and also issue of unemployment, which make more people, many people used to informal employment. So unemployment should be a priority for HR managers, global international HR managers in Africa, to try and address how to create more job opportunity. If you go to Europe, practice equality, that is egalitarianism, where every person is treated equally. Mostly, if you look at different aspects of the society, more so on workplace, where they have flat hierarchy, same pay for the same job. So this indicate a lower power distance, which enable you get in Europe, we have Workers' Council. Workers' Council is a group of staff who are officially or are legally appointed or selected to listen to be where the employer um, uh, uh, has to have to consult or inform them on the business, on the organizational business. So because of the equal treatment, so the work council is a representative of the workers who are employed in the organization. And then in a country like Germany, uh, most of HR division are employees are involved in HR division, and this leads to co-determination. And also, if you look at a company like Siemens, Siemens do co-design of a AI solution, which ensure that the ethical product in the market. So, and you get in Europe, the key cornerstone of HR is the well-being of the employees in the organization. Then also we cannot not speak about the strict labor laws in Europe, something like the DP, you are required, HRs are required to maintain data privacy of staff. These are leads to non-negotiable ethical tension. And then European Union allows collective bargaining, which make people work cohesively, and also can people can easily fight for their rights. And it leads to transactional management, where give you, give me. So that is the culture of employment in Europe. Then we look at, we'll try and look at the realities across the continent, and you get that countries with high uncertainty avoidance, they always tend to have structured processes. This is mostly in Asia and Europe. And then countries with low uncertainty avoidance, they try to do experimental, and that's why you see big companies in America, they don't fear going to market in any part of the globe. Um, in conclusion, we can say that culture value affects or influences the policy efficiency in a company, and a company should HR managers should consider the culture values of where the company is operating. And there is no a universal best leadership style to manage culture values. So even if you look across all the continent, there is no single best leadership style. Um, uh, so companies should, if they want to go global, they should embrace home country culture, which can permit them to operate in other regions which they are not there. So future trend is that we are seeing where things like working from home, this hybrid trend which is coming after COVID as help globalization, where somebody can do a work is in Mozambique, is in India, is doing work in a different country. And then also companies now are raising economical and social governance, where a company has valued the economic and social governance values are maintained throughout the company. And these remove the different cultures. So I think ESG can create a uniform, or can bridge different cultures if the values are taken up by all employees. So HR must not reprogram strategy, but should not must reprogram strategy, but not to transplant them. And those are my references. Thank you very much.